Hello and welcome back to another episode of HD Movie Talk. I am your host, Dean's Beans, and as always, I'm here with another host, another man, another TikToker, Harlan Duffy, also known as Fluffy Duffy. Hello.
Wow. You didn't have as many compliments as you usually do,
Yeah, I'm just not really feeling the love right now.
which is probably fair. I kind of left him waiting for 10 minutes before we
Yeah.
got on this call.
Well, no, to be fair, I was very nice to you before I hit record, so I felt like I am.
Oh, that's true. You were
And
you
we
were
will
you
never reveal what I said. Anyway, we're starting the December season of this podcast, although the last episode probably came out in December, didn't it? Anyway,
the first. Wait, nope. It was like the third.
yeah, whatever, who cares? Anyway, because it's December, we thought, hey, why don't we do something Christmassy? And what's more Christmassy than watching a piece of garbage and tearing it apart?
Yeah, this one was a doozy.
Do you want to explain the silver lining, which is what we're doing today to our fabulous listeners?
So we're doing the silver lining, which is we try to take a bad piece of entertainment and turn it into a good piece of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're doing the Star Wars Holiday Special.
That is true. Is this the first time we've done a non-movie, or am I just forgetting something?
Well, I mean, it's an
It's a
hour 40 long. It's
yeah,
basically a
it's a
movie.
fit. Yeah, that is what I was gonna say. But like, this is the least film thing we've done, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, apart from Holmes and Watson. Hey,
Hey, because it's a bad movie. Hey, at
this
least
is
you don't have it on
worse.
Blu-ray.
Um. Anyway, so basically, how we do this is we talk about all the good stuff for about 45 minutes, and then we spend 30 seconds talking about the bad stuff, and then we fix it.
I think you mixed them up. I think you mixed up the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Okay, that's true. But okay. What the Star Wars Holiday Special, for those who don't know, what year did it come out? 78?
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna Google it quickly. Um, so it was a television film. So yes, 1978, straight to TV. It brings back most of the pretty much all of the original cast, apart from Alec Guinness, obviously.
Because he was dead.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, because I thought you were saying Alec Guinness was dead, and I was like, not yet, but he's dead now. Um, yeah, so it's got the original cast back, and yeah, it's a sci-fi comedy musical. It was released in 1978, and so this was the second piece of Star Wars content ever released, and I think that's a very important thing to consider. This is pre-Empire Strikes Back,
Yes, it is.
and it's no longer canon. Obviously, if you watch it, you're like, oh, this obviously isn't canon. And do you want to try?
But what part of it isn't canon? Like,
Well,
what part starts out and you're like, oh, well, this can't be canon.
well, just all the dumb little technology stuff and things like that, like small details. It's not very. There's a lot in this which isn't very Star Warsy, I think.
That's true.
And
But like,
hey, I'm not trying to sound like Star Wars theory.
hey,
Did you see what he
you
said about
leave
Andor?
what um Bumpy? What was his name? It was
Bumpy, lumpy.
Lumpy. Do you leave Lumpy alone?
Do you know what Star Wars theory? This YouTube. Do you know Star Wars theory?
Oh, actually, I don't know.
He's a popular Star Wars YouTuber. Do you know why he didn't like Andor?
Why?
Because in some scenes you could see bricks and screws, and he didn't find that very Star Warsy.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, and I suddenly felt like I was being him when I said this wasn't very Star Warsy. But this isn't very Star Warsy. No one's going to argue with me on that. Anyway,
No, no, I don't think you're gonna. I don't think that's a very controversial statement.
okay. Do you want to do something impossible for me?
Yeah.
Try and explain to me the plot of this, like in detail, not like the 3 sentence summary. Like what happens in this?
So, so it starts off. Well, does it start off with Chewbacca's family, or does it start off with Han Solo and
I think it
Chewbacca?
starts off with Han Solo and Chewbacca, and then there's the big title sequence.
Right. So it starts off with Han Solo and Chewbacca trying to get back for. I could never hear exactly what they said. Was it
Life
Life
Day.
Day or
Yeah, that is something that is still canon in Star Wars.
Life
Life Day.
Day?
Yeah. Very
That's a
much.
good decision. Um, so Life Day, they want to get back for Light Day, but then they get into some trouble with the Empire, and so then um, Chewbacca's family is waiting for him to get home, and Chewbacca's family consists of Lumpy the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like or
Who?
Lala?
I
I
yeah,
don't
like
remember
Lab.
their
I
names.
was about to say Lalo, but that's the guy from Better Call Saul. Itchy is the grandpa, and I can't find it. Okay. You just keep talking.
And they're waiting for him to come home, and he's late. So they try calling Luke, and Luke's like, he's not there. Uh-oh, I hope he's not in trouble. I'm sure he's fine. And then he still doesn't come home. So then they call like a traitor, like a not a traitor like a betrayer, but like a traitor like a he trades things with people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an Empire guy there who steals a cleaning tool, and then that's that. And then the wife, Chewbacca,
Marla.
Mala, watches four-armed dude in blackface do some cooking, which was the most. I would argue that's the most strange part of the entire movie.
I disagree, but it's up there. It's definitely up.
It's up there.
We'll get
What's
to it.
your number
We'll get
one?
to it.
Is it the okay? Okay, so a little background. First thing I did when I woke up this morning was turn on the Star Wars Holiday Special,
Mm-hmm.
and I finished it like 20 minutes ago. So it is all still very, very fuzzy. Um,
Just like Chewbacca's family.
well, they're more hairy.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I feel like I'm gonna be no, and then the trader comes over to the house.
Sure, let's go with that.
Am I missing anything?
I don't know. Uh,
The trader comes back to the house.
there's a bit of Darth Vader before that, I think.
Oh
Like
yeah, there is, but it's
tiny
like
little scene.
super
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
super strange.
And okay, and then I think there's Leia and C-3PO get called. Was that late? That's later.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
later.
later.
So it
Yeah,
goes Imperial Life Day, um, and then yeah, that guy comes back to give Itchy a present, the
right.
mind evaporator. Where it's like VR, and he watches this human female sing a song to him. It's like okay, we're not going to get into that too much. And then there's the scene with Leia and C-3PO.
No, I think we should get into it a little bit.
No, not yet. That's not the
Because what
structure.
was that?
That's not the structure of this.
That it was like softcore, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. He was. We all knew what he was doing while he was
Man.
watching it.
Oh, grandpa.
Oh god, there's a bit where it cut to him and he did this weird thing with his teeth. Yeah, yeah, like that. He sounded like that. Okay, so then it
You're
goes.
adorable.
Uh, yeah, and then there's Leia and C-3PO scene, and then Chewbacca and Han are going to Kashyyyk, and like they're fighting all these Imperials. And then the Imperials storm into his family's house.
Oh, well, yeah, because Chewbacca and Han Solo arrive on the planet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it's the doorbell ring, and it's like, oh my gosh, Chewbacca and Han are home. Psych! It's the it's stormtroopers.
Okay, and then Leia, Luke, C-3PO, and R2D2 animated.
Oh right, because as they're tearing up the home, they put Lumpy on the thing. How do I sound? Do I sound fine?
Yeah, you sound good.
There you go. They
Um,
put Lumpy on like a TV thing.
yeah, and then they meet Boba Fett.
The first ever appearance of Boba Fett.
Yeah, and he's riding a dinosaur. Can we just? Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. And we
I'm really putting you to the limit
I
here.
don't want to talk about this.
So, what did you think about um the cartoon, Dean? Give me your
The
thoughts.
animation style was fun. I kind of liked the caricature look of people, and it was 1978. You can't diss on the animation too much because, I mean, especially
Well,
for a
yeah,
TV film. And it like the designs were fine, and
yeah. I don't have any gripes with the animation.
I
It's
think the
kind of like
animation sequence is the best part of all of this.
yeah, because I think animation kind of has a little bit of leeway.
You're not as constrained by budget in animation. Like
Right,
there's a lot more you can do. You can have Boba Fett riding a dinosaur.
right.
Yeah. And you could do people's schedules so all the main cast can appear in the same scene at the same time, which
Right.
which seemed to be an issue they were having. Okay. What
Yes.
okay, you can take over again because my brain is fried.
Okay, so after this, the pug, the the little Wookie, what's his name? Bumpy, Pumpy,
Lumpy.
Lumpy, Lumpy.
What did you call him? Pumpy.
I don't know, dude. I think both our brains are just fried because we had just watched an hour 40 of just nothing.
Should we Yeah. Yeah.
Um. Okay, so after that,
You missed out one of
Lumpy.
the musical numbers right at the start, by the way, with there was a guy on a hollow table, like Lumpy was being really annoying. So she was like, "Hey, watch this," and then a musical guy appeared.
You're right. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Okay,
I think
uh,
I like I repressed that as soon as I was like finished watching it.
can I just talk about my overall thoughts of this thing?
Yeah, well, hold on. We're so far along
Okay,
with the summary. We might as
okay,
well finish it up. The stormtroopers raid their home. It's just like it's a mess. Um, and then yada yada yada. Some of the stormtroopers leave, but one doesn't. And then Han Solo and Chewbacca arrive and kill the last stormtrooper. But then it cuts to um a lady at a bar, and she has to talk to this dude who really wants her number. And then she says no, and he's sad. This has nothing to do with the story at all. And then there's a musical number of her trying to get people out of the bar because the Empire said so.
yeah,
And then the
um,
movie, and then it ends with everybody together. Wait, no.
Han Solo fights
After
some stormtroopers, doesn't he?
he fights one.
Yeah.
I already said that. I think I mixed them up. Um, but then after that, all the Wookiees get together and they hold their own orbs. And then all of a sudden they're walking in space with red robes on.
Oh yeah.
And then they teleport and then they're with Luke, Han, Leia, and then Leia breaks out into song, and the movie ends.
Hmm.
So, what are your overall thoughts on this, Dean?
So going into this, I was like, yeah, I know it's garbage, but I feel like I'm gonna be able to get some enjoyment out of this
Have you
because,
seen this
like,
before?
no,
Me either.
because I enjoy hokey Christmas stuff. Yeah, I mean, I not all the time, but like I've got some leeway for that kind of cheese. I don't
Yes.
dislike that kind of cheese, and I'm like, I can manage this, but it was just nonsensical, and worst of all, it was boring.
And worst of all, it wasn't even Christmassy.
No, it wasn't Christmassy, and it was boring. And so Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special came out recently, and that was kind of like a some inspired by this in many ways. And like James
Yes.
Gunn has said, I wanted to do the holiday special, but I wanted to do it right.
Yes.
And the way he meant is like having musical numbers and like a family feel and
A
um
cartoon
like
implement.
animated sections, yeah. And he just did it better, believe it or not, which doesn't surprise anyone in the world.
Yeah, the Christmas special, the Guardians holiday special is what the Star Wars holiday special was trying to be.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Did we talk about okay, are we gonna talk about the good stuff? Because I like the animated sequence I think is good.
The
It, it
animated,
it's not
yes,
amazing.
but I mean, it's
If that was the entire thing, I don't think this would have had as much pushback as it did.
that's true. But people wouldn't have looked at it the same. People,
That's true.
if it was just like an hour long cartoon special, nobody would give it the time of day. But considering Mark Hamill and everybody came back, it was like a big thing. Also, coming out right after the release of Star Wars, everybody was
Yeah.
losing their
So
mind.
the thing is, George Lucas had very little to do with this, if that isn't apparent. And this was only aired once, only on TV once, never re-aired because George Lucas was so unhappy with it, and it was never released on VHS.
So how did I watch it?
So people have just bootlegged it. People recorded it on their VHS players or at the time, and they're the only versions that we have access to.
That's insane.
It like how weird is it that something's only been released once?
And I feel like the video that I watched it was pretty like high quality.
What did you just YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't terrible, yeah. But I imagine that someone's got all these different VHSs and pieced them together and restored it and
right. That's
put
true.
effort into it because that's what Star Wars fans do when they're not fighting each other. And like every year, I see a push online for people for it to be put on Disney Plus. And like, I don't think they. I'd like to see it on Disney Plus because why not?
I think only because it's like a part of like Star Wars
Yeah,
history.
yeah. Like, why not put it on Disney Plus? Because they're still hiding it. I think George Lucas must have put something in a contract about no Star Wars holiday special, just like he released something saying, "Oh, you can't release the original versions of the films. You have to release my updated versions."
Oh, really? He has that in this
I'm pretty
set
sure
like
he does, yeah. And that's why Disney haven't. Because if Disney were like, here are the original Star Wars films, they'd make bank again.
yeah, that makes so much money.
It would like they'd make as much money as George Lucas did when he first did the what are they called when he re-released are they just called the re-releases?
I think so.
But yeah, whatever. But they'd make as much money as he did then. Anyway,
Um okay. So what are the so besides the animation,
mm-hmm.
what are other good things about it? It's cool seeing the original cast.
Yeah, it's always nice to see. I mean, if you think about it, there's only, oh, I mean, unless there's something that I don't know about, there's only four things they all appear in together,
Right.
and that's I'm like in the same scene because like they're all in Force Awakens, but like, and that's the original trilogy in
That's true.
this. So that's nice, and it's like seeing them young is fun and everything, and yeah,
It it did feel like cool because we've all seen the Star Wars movies and it was cool seeing like essentially a deleted scene
yeah,
that
and
I
all the
had never
characters
seen before.
keep to their characterizations. I think there's no like apart from one notable thing. I think every character that's already in Star Wars doesn't act out of character massively.
Who acts out a character?
Carrie Fisher has one moment.
Wait, what's her moment?
She sings at the end.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you meant like she said something during the
No.
one scene talking to. Okay, what is going on? I cannot remember these Wookiees' names for the life of me.
Lumpy, Marla, Itchy, Chewbacca.
Okay, you know what the issue was?
What?
The first time I heard Lumpy,
Yeah.
I thought they said Fluffy,
uh,
and I was listening for it the entire movie. And so I think I was just focused on seeing if it was.
why are they named like Snow White's dwarfs though? Lumpy and Itchy are like the eighth and ninth dwarf.
Dude. Oh, I want a lumpy doll. Just like to be like sitting in like the corner of my room.
Anyway, okay. Anything else good? Music. I mean, it's got Star Wars music to it.
Not the songs.
They weren't. Some of the songs weren't awful. Like they were very out of place. But if you looked at the songs themselves, like the one in the bar, I think is a fine song.
Yeah, the one about the
And you
first.
get the Cantina band.
You do.
Can you
You
imagine
do.
if this just killed Star Wars and there was no Star Wars stuff after this?
That would be awesome.
What do you think like the cultural impact of Star Wars would be?
It'd be zero. We would all be wearing, we'd all have like Star Trek tattoos, and Star Trek would be like the big
I
thing.
mean, yeah, but Star Wars still was like the highest grossing film of all time. So I reckon it would be like the impact Jaws has had because obviously Star Wars is bigger than Jaws.
Yeah, maybe. I think if anything, we would look at Star Wars primarily as like a technological wonder. Like we would be like
Yeah,
that movie set forth.
that's true. But you know, we'd still know it because it was the highest grossing film of all time.
Right. Well, at the time.
Well, yeah. And it was for a while, wasn't it? Until, oh no, E.T. beat it, I think.
What?
Something like that.
E.T. beat Star Wars?
Yeah, I'm going to do some research. Think of another nice thing, or you can move on to bad things.
Um, I would say the character designs are nice, but they literally had blackface in the movie.
I think the Wookiees are fine, apart from that.
Yeah. God, anything nice to say, Harlan? Anything at all?
Like, no one gives a bad performance, like out of the main cast, especially, but
Well, yeah, because the main cast is just Wookiees going. "Arr."
yeah, no, I mean, like the returning cast. I mean, they all do fine.
Yeah, but like one could argue that their acting in the original trilogy isn't that great either.
Yeah.
So, and also they have like George Lucas. He's a genius in certain ways, but he's certainly not a genius when it comes to writing dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
you
they're
ready
kind.
for the highest grossing films of all time?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
so.
yeah.
This is the high at the time. These are all the highest grossing films. So we start with The Birth of a Nation. Awful film,
Never seen it.
horribly racist. Um,
Oh,
was replaced by Gone with the Wind.
okay.
Was replaced by The Sound of Music.
Cute.
Was replaced by Gone with the Wind.
Oh, they pulled an Avatar.
Yeah, replaced with The Godfather.
Really?
Yeah, and then 4 years later we get Jaws.
Okay, that makes sense.
2 years later we get Star Wars.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then we get E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Wow, how much did ET make compared to Star Wars? Did it say that?
Uh, Star Wars made 530 million and E.T. made 701 million.
Wow.
And then overtaking that was Jurassic Park. Spielberg with back-to-back hits.
Oh, really? So, wait, what Star Wars was number one? The first one?
The first one was the only one to be number one.
So Empire and Return of the Jedi never topped it?
No.
Huh.
So, and then E.T. was top for 10 years and then Jurassic Park. So, Spielberg just back-to-back hits.
Yeah.
And then Titanic.
Right.
And then
And then it was
Avatar.
but
So
then, but
James
then
Cameron also got back-to-back hits.
yeah.
And then Endgame, then Avatar.
All right.
Okay, let's talk about bad stuff.
God.
So let's not get into too much specifics here because we'll be here all day.
Let's just get into like general things.
Yeah, and then like, and then specifically absolutely atrocious things.
The Wookiee sounds get tired
Yeah,
real
the
quick.
thing is, you can't like. There was so many scenes of just Wookiees, and I'm like that. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It's
Especially,
it,
you know,
it
like that first scene when it then goes to the like it's just Lumpy walking around for ages, then Itchy puts on a music thing, and that's the scene.
The music thing was weird. The music thing creeped me out.
Not as creepy as the music thing with Itchy in VR.
You know what? It's the itchy thing kind of felt like he was just being like a little dirty. Like that was itchy just being like But something about that little dance scene with the little guys and the little guy grew
Yeah.
creeped me out, man. I don't know what about it. It felt like a fever dream
Yeah.
that I couldn't wake up from. I didn't like it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Here's a line from
What?
from the VR woman.
Okay.
I know you're searching for me. Searching, searching. I am here. My voice is for you alone. I am found in your eyes only. I exist for you. I am in your mind as you create me. Oh, yes, I can feel my creation. I'm getting your message. Are you getting mine? I don't need to ask how you find me. You see, I am your fantasy. I am your experience. So experience me. I am your pleasure. So enjoy me. This is our moment together in time, and we might turn this moment into an eternity. What was the thinking? Do you think they're like, oh, let's throw something in for the
How did James
dads?
Gunn like this?
I don't think he did.
No, he said he enjoyed it when he was
Uh,
a kid.
yeah, if you're a kid, I can understand a kid just being like, Star Wars, especially in 1978. How old? I'm going to look up how old James Gunn was when this came out.
I guess he was like 5.
Oh, he was 12. Not, that's fine.
Pushing it a little bit.
Hey, don't diss James Gunn, okay?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. We'll be talking
So,
about a lot of James Gunn in the next coming
yeah.
couple months.
Yeah, I mean, James Gunn is going to be talked about as much as Kevin Feige, so more so probably
Oh yeah, that's true.
directing
Well,
stuff.
because um, yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Peacemaker, aren't we?
Oh yeah, surprise.
I mean, yeah, there was a vote on it.
That was a vote.
Okay, I just don't set so much plot around Wookiees. Don't give us so many musical numbers. Don't give us a like the animation was fine, but you need a reason to cut to animation and then like whatever.
Right, like James Gunn in the Guardian special used the animation as like a device to show that it was in the past,
Yes.
but they just used it as like a cutscene so they could have animation in it. It felt more like
Can we just start fixing this? Because I think it's going to take a while, unless you've got anything.
yeah, no, yeah,
Uh,
let's go for it.
I think the core elements of the plot work. I think having
What?
Chewbacca trying to get back to his
Okay.
family is a good idea. It's a fine idea for a plot, and I think if we keep that, then we've kept enough of this for it to still be the same.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, I forgot a complaint that I want to air out.
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
There's not there's too much TV screens and stuff that just doesn't feel Star Warsy, and that sort of thing. I'm kind of like, and I understand why because Star Wars wasn't Star Wars yet. If that
That's
makes,
true.
but it annoys me on a rewatch. Can I completely change the conversation, please?
Sure.
When I googled James Gunn to see how old he was, I just caught a glimpse of a headline, and I want to read it to you.
Go for it.
James Gunn vow. Wait, what's the headline? Is James Gunn vows to put more gorillas in DC Studios projects.
About time.
About gosh damn time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm glad we aired that out. I was really actually really wanting to talk about that.
Yeah.
So
No, it's been on my mind for a while that there's not enough gorillas.
there is in the Flash. There's plenty of gorillas in the Flash.
Yeah, they go to Gorilla City at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's talk about this freaking film.
We're trying not to because it's okay.
Are you
Okay.
who's writing this down, me or you?
Um, you can both write it down.
Sure.
Through my phone.
Okay. So we're keeping the main. Are we keeping Life Day as a concept? Because like, can we say Christmas and make it still feel Star Warsy? Because then if we're talking about Christmas, is there a space Christ?
Well, it's not Christmas.
Well, yeah. Should we just say Life Day and then just make it Christmas?
Yeah, we just have to leave it Life Day. We just
That is kind of
Day.
Life Day is just Christmas in Star Wars now because they still talk about like Life Day comes up every now and then.
Okay, yeah. So Life Day can just be Christmas. Okay.
I think like okay. Are we going to put ourselves under the same limitations of being like, oh, the core cast can't be in it for that long and they can't be together for that long and blah, 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 and small budget and blah, blah, blah?
Hmm.
I think we need to give ourselves the budget restraints.
Budget restraints.
Like, we can't make a Star Wars film here.
Right. You know what? Like, let's just make it as let's make it. Yeah, let's try to imagine that we are the producer of this project,
Okay.
and we have to make it as good as we can.
Okay. So, how many VR porn scenes are we having?
I had down 8.
Okay, I can only think of. Okay, no, 8 works. Hour 40, yeah, yeah.
um,
That's one every 12 and a half minutes.
I think. Okay, so I'm trying to think. What scenes should we keep?
Do we have to keep any?
We don't have to keep any.
Because there's no scene where I'm like, yeah, that one works and fits here. Like the animated stuff fits and works, but if I would want to, do something specific with animation instead of just putting it in the middle for no reason.
Would it be fun if we had one central character that went around and visited every single character from Star Wars and they had like their own little mini issue they had to solve, and then at the end it was everybody together?
But then, I don't know.
I'm not, I'm that I'm just that just came over my mind. So I'm like,
Yeah, I
maybe.
don't know. I do like the idea of Chewie trying to get back to his family and like giving like the holiday special also gave more focus to a character that isn't like we don't know loads about, which also happens in James Gunn's. So I think
That's true.
something like that works. And Chewbacca makes sense as the character to focus on because
Yeah, so we focus on Chewie, that he's still the central protagonist, but I think we should focus on him the entire time.
yeah, and it can just be like him and Han.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Um,
Harrison Ford would be more than happy to be in the Star Wars Holiday Special for longer than he already was.
and I think maybe we can have it so that like they meet Boba Fett in real life, and then we get like a flashback. Should we just use use the animation the same way they did in the Guardian special?
Yeah, but then you have to think about what kind of flashback you want to do.
Oh, how do you mean? Like, what would be it would be animated?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, what would the flashback be?
I think it would be like Boba Fett and Han Solo meeting for the first time, and like a little adventure with them.
Sure.
Because I still want to get Boba Fett in this. I think
Yeah.
that's my number 2 thing. Chewie has to be the central protagonist, and we
But
get
also,
Boba Fett.
I kind of want a musical number as well.
Sure. Because that's what makes it. That's what makes it like the holiday specials. Is a musical number, so I'm not opposed to musical number.
Mm-hmm.
But what's it going to be?
Uh, Ed Sheeran.
Hmm. Um, how I don't think it could. Okay. Moving on. I don't think it can be any like the main characters singing a song. It
No,
has to be sort of how the Holiday Guardian special did it, where it was
like
like,
not the kind of thing where someone's breaking out in a musical number for no reason. It has to be featured within the plot.
right.
I'm trying to think of another example because it's not like it's not like in the Guns Galaxy, it's not a musical number. Like it's part of the plot, and it's not like, well, why are these characters suddenly started singing?
I think if anything, they could be like at a Life Day music concert.
Or just like like a bar, and it's instead of a cantina band, there's a band singing about Life Day, and it's how.
Right.
Okay. So what if it's Han, Luke, and Chewbacca trying to get back to Chewie's home for trying to get to Kashyyyk. It's also the first time Kashyyyk's mentioned because obviously it's called Kashyyyk for the
Hmm.
rest of time, for Life Day. And Luke's like, hey, on Tatooine, out in the Outer Rim, we don't celebrate Life Day. So what is Life Day? And it's kind of this point of view thing. And then Han Solo's like, hey, it's a load of rubbish. No one cares about Life Day. I'm a big Scrooge because I'm Harrison Ford. And then
Oh,
Chewbacca's all like, hey, no, I love Life Day because it's about family and it's about friends and it's about being together. And then there's a nice musical number played by a band about what Life Day is.
I like that. I think that's a good. That's good. And then, um, how do we get Leia in there?
Leia doesn't have to be in loads of it.
Well, I want her to be like at least at in the end. Like how do we get her in there and make sense?
What if I'm trying to think. You do something like the holiday special where a couple characters go off to bring something back to the group. But what if like Luke? Okay, so what if Luke, Chewie, and Han are in a bar and they're having to hide low because they just blew up the Death Star, and
Mm,
and then they have this conversation about Life Day, and like Han's like, Life Day's a load of rubbish. And then Luke's like, hey, I think this sounds pretty good. And he goes to Han and he's like, hey, what if we go to Kashyyyk and go bring Chewie's family here to surprise him on Life Day? Because like the point is they can't travel anywhere because they're
right.
wanted. So then they go to Kashyyyk, get Chewie's family, and bring him back to wherever they're to Hoth or wherever they are.
Um, but the one issue I foresee, so is Chewie coming with them to pick up the family?
Guessing not, no.
Then Chewie isn't really the essential protagonist.
Yeah, that's true. I think we need something to get the family back at Hoth because now I realize they're at Hoth. Having the ending be at Hoth makes sense because it's all snowy and Christmassy.
Right. Um, maybe Leia could bring them home.
What if like they've been I don't know. What if
Oh,
like
maybe how about this? How about this? They so it's Luke, Chewie, and Han going
mhm,
to try to get their family, Chewie's family, but
mhm.
then halfway there, their ship breaks and they have to go back home. They can't make it to their planet for whatever reason. And then
Mhm.
when they get back, Leia brought Chewie's family,
Like
and then
she had sent out a signal for them.
right, or so, yeah, something like that. And then
Yeah.
when they get back home, Chewie's
Yeah.
family's there. It's happily ever after.
Yeah, that's cool. How does Boba Fett fit into this? Boba Fett is a bounty hunter hunting them down still.
Right. So like Um. Oh yeah, we can just do that, and they're gonna have like a bunch of like little pit stops on their adventure.
Hmm.
Um. Maybe Boba Fett's the one who breaks the ship.
Yeah, I think he's the like Darth Vader's like, hey, you get Darth Vader's one scene as well, and he's like, hey, go track down these guys who blew up the Death Star and bring them back.
Right.
No
And also,
disintegrations this time.
hmm. Actually, no, I'll scrap that. I wanted to be like, and Han Solo shoots him in the head and gives him the dink on the helmet because they never explain that canonically. They do kind of in a deleted scene from the Clone Wars, but that doesn't count. It does, but they need to like address it. Have you seen that scene?
Yeah. But
Okay.
also it's funny that you're like they need to address it in this thing that in our world comes out before this isn't a prequel, this is a sequel.
Right. But you know what I mean.
I know what you
You
mean.
know.
Okay, okay. So what happens on their little adventure?
So um I think one they'll receive a transmission where let's so they make one stop at a bar where the
Yeah,
musical happens.
yeah. Well, no, that's at the start, isn't it? It's that. What if that's just at Hoth and like some rebels are
Okay.
playing music to do it together? Like, they stop at a bar and someone recognizes them or something, and someone's like, "Hey, you're Han Solo," and he's like, "No, I'm not." Han Solo does something that like he should have like Han Solo gets angry about about Life Day, sorry. And then
Yes.
like gets up and then someone's like, wait, you're Han Solo. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then they run away and like that alerts the Empire who alerts Boba Fett.
Right.
And then Boba Fett. And then where's their next pit stop? They go and pick up some presents for the Wookiees.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
So they
And
go.
like and Chewbacca like forces him down there because he realized he doesn't have any.
So okay, okay. The main question I have now I realize is what is the point where Han Solo understands the point of Life Day?
Well, I think that's why I was like sort of I think if we have the musical,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of gets it, but he's standoffish.
Yeah,
And then we get the scene of Chewbacca getting gifts for his kids,
yeah,
and then like Han Solo sees other kids running about looking for toys, and he's like, "Oh, maybe."
yeah. And
Um,
what if in this scene he like secretly gets presents for everyone else as well? And then at the very end, it's like the Guardians Holiday special where Han Solo gives everyone presents. He's like, "Hey
right.
Chewie, I got you this for Life Day."
But there's I think um in the bar fight, Han
Mm-hmm.
Solo should like Chewie and is Luke at the bar too?
Yeah. So what if? Okay, okay. Here's an idea. So the three of them are at the bar,
Uh-huh.
and they enter, and Han Solo's like, "Oh, I know that guy," and immediately puts his hood up, and he's like, "I can't like show my face because then we'll alert the Empire." He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay," and then Luke's like, "Okay, I'll go get us drink." Luke goes up to the bar, and then like he starts getting in an argument with these guys, and Han Solo reveals himself to stand up for his friend,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, "Oh, it's this guy," and then they have the fight, and then they go,
I think it's a good idea.
and then Boba Fett finds them.
Right.
What
And then
happens
I
there?
think so Boba Fett finds him. And here, hold on a minute. I need to close the door real quick.
Okay, Boba Fett tracks them down. What about when they're Christmas shopping and they have a Life Day shopping and they have a big fight in there or something?
Boba Fett finds it. Do they find
I said Boba
him?
Fett finds him in the Christmas shopping place, Life Day shopping place, and they fight there.
Yes. And then do they get a like a cartoon flashback?
What if that's how it opens? You kind of need to
Or maybe it could here's the idea.
go on.
It opens with Han Solo younger getting Christmas Life Day presents,
How
and
often
then
are we gonna go the Chris Life Day?
and then Boba Fett comes down and like ruins his Life Day.
Sure.
Like he like kills his parents. No. And that's why he's named Han Solo.
That's my brain was wearing that. What if it's like, yeah, what if like they're friends because like, Han's friends with all these shady people working for the Huts. And
Right.
like and then I don't know, how can Boba Fett ruin Life Day for him without it being stupid?
Um Boba Fett buys the last present Han Solo is wanting to go get. um we could make it like I don't know.
You can do this kind of silly thing
Maybe
to
Boba
start
Fett, like
dragons, but
he cuts like the he drains he like breaks Han's ship so that he can't get home in time for Christmas because
yeah,
Han kind of slighted him, and then Boba Fett was mad.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so he had to miss Christmas 1 year, and so that's why he kind of hates Christmas.
Life Day.
Oh no, Life Day, Life Day, Life Day, Life Day, Life Day.
Yeah, and then so that the ship. But what do you mean their ship breaks? Because why can they still get back to Hoth and not Kashyyyk?
I think like if anything, let's say that to um
Their
the
hyperdrive.
last thing they to get to Shake, they had to go into light speed,
Yeah,
and the light
their
speed is broken.
their hyperdrive's broken, Phantom Menace style.
Yeah, boom, piece of cake.
And then they go home, and Leia heard, and she got the Wookiees back, and then they're all happy. And then there's another musical number where they all exchange presents.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Look, it's pretty short.
Okay, we have fixed this thing now. We'll just recap it for you guys, and then Harlan and I are gonna go put up the podcast Christmas tree.
Yeah, I love
Sorry,
that idea.
Life Day tree. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
so the special opens with an animated sequence of Han Solo and Boba Fett, young people working for Jabba the Hutt, and Han Solo cheated in a game of sabacc, and then is like going home for Life Day, which is basically just exactly the same as Christmas in this, and Boba Fett damages his ship so he can't go home, and like to kind of spite him. So Han Solo is just a bit bitter about that. And then we cut to the future. We're on Hoth, the rebel base. They're all very wanted fugitives. They're all lying low, and they're sitting there. And Chewbacca's all sad because it's Life Day. And Luke's like, "Oh, what's Life Day? We don't celebrate that out in the Outer Rim." And Han Solo is like, "Oh, it's just this dumb tradition." And then Chewbacca's like, but he basically says like, no, it means a lot, and I can't see my family. And he talks about his family, which have better names.
But we're keeping Bumpy, right?
No, the better names Pumpy Bumpy and Dumpy. Dumpy's
Bumpy
the
Dumpy.
wife.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And then like a bunch of rebels who are like trying to build morale, do a nice musical number to be like, hey, this is what Life Day is all about. And Han Solo's like, this is so stupid. And Luke's like, hey, but we should go and see if we can go visit Chewie's family. Come on, Chewie, let's go. And Han's like, you're not taking my ship anywhere without me. So they go on his ship in a nice little journey, and they stop at a bar, but because they need to refuel or whatever happens in Star Wars. And they walk in, and then Han Solo's like, I know that guy back from my dodgy days. He puts up his hood, and they sit in the corner, and Luke's like, I'll go get a drink. And then Luke gets in an argument with one of these guys, and instead of having Obi-Wan there, Ben there to cut off some guy's arm, Han Solo has to step in to look out for his friend. And that's when he's recognized, and they all have to run away after a quick bar fight. But Luke's like, hey, Han, thanks for sticking up for me. It seems like you do care about your friends after all. And Han Solo's like, no, I don't. Whatever. So he buggers off. No, they all bugger off together. I apologize. And because this guy recognized Han Solo, the Empire gets alerted, and Darth Vader brings in Boba Fett, and he's like, hey, Boba Fett, go catch these guys and kill them. But no disintegrations this time. And Boba Fett goes off, hunts them down, and then Chewbacca's like, oh no, I still haven't got them any Life Day presents. Can we stop off on this planet to get some presents? And they're like, yeah, okay. So they stop off that planet, and Han Solo's looking around, and he's like, wow, this is so nice and so Christmassy. I'm Life Day-y. So Chewbacca gets some presents, and we don't know it yet, but Han Solo also secretly gets some presents for everyone else. But Boba Fett arrives, and there's a big fight, and they manage to defeat Boba Fett, and he just about escapes. But the hyperdrive on the Millennium Falcon is destroyed, so they can't go to Kashyyyk. So they have to return to Hoth.
Oh, I hope there's a surprise waiting for them at home.
And there's a surprise waiting for them at home.
Oh my god, I didn't see that coming.
And Prince Leia had
Prince Leia? Surprise!
Surprise! I've had a sex change. Princess Leia, played by Carl Fisher, um,
I see what you did there.
uh, come back and Chewbacca's family's there waiting for him, and it's so happy and nice, and they all have a nice reunion. And there's another musical number, and they all hand out Christmas presents. And Han Solo's like, "I do understand the meaning of I mean Life Day after all." Then he winks at the camera, and that's the end of that.
Yay!
What do you give the holiday special out of 10?
1.
Is it the worst thing we've talked about on The Silver Lining?
Potentially.
It's definitely up there, isn't it? Because it's just dull and boring.
We did have to change the entire thing.
That's true. But like we did, like Holmes and Watson, I feel like made me more angry than this did and more annoyed.
Yeah.
Well, with this, I'm kind of like, this is bad and I don't care. But it's bad, but I don't care enough to figure out why.
Right. For sure.
I'd give the original a 1 out of 10, and I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I give this one like a 7 out of 10.
Nice, nice. Okay. So, should we talk about what we're doing over the next few weeks?
Yes.
We're entering our end of year celebrations, and it's 3 weeks long. Wow, we should come up with a cool name for it.
HD movie talk.
HD New Year.
H New
That does not
Year
work
in
written down.
New H the New Year's in HD. The it in 2022 in
Ending the year in HD.
In HD.
Ending the year in HD.
Is anybody still listening to this, do you think? Do you
Anyway,
think they clicked off? Like,
so next week we're doing something very exciting. We're having on multiple special guests from across our podcast and TikTok to compete, including Harlan, in a 2022 movie and TV quiz. The winner gets a very special prize, probably. I said that, and then we never talked about it since. But I think they should get a prize. So
$2.
We should think of a prize, Harlan.
They become the honorary third host.
Sure. I've thought of an idea, but we can talk about this off pod.
They get Ned.
They get Ned, the cat. And then a week after that, Harlan and I, just the two of us, will be handing out our awards of 2022 for like the best film, the best actor, the best TV show, the best comedy, the best podcast episode, whatever. Who cares? We haven't figured it out yet. And then the week after that, we'll be looking forward to 2023. And we'll be like, here's some stuff that's coming out then.
Yes. I think what's at the top of both of our lists, but whatever.
Yes. Anyway, that is all.
Adios.
Yes. Wait, I did have a question though.
An extra stop.
What would Chewbacca sound like if he had an Italian accent but still a Wookiee voice?
I'd probably be like, brrr.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Life Day.